have dragons? I'll give you one.
Welcome back to Heroes and Whiskey. We are printing our way through the D&D Monster Manual, and we are still working our way through the metallic dragons, and today we're printing monster number 71, the Copper Dragon from Lord of the Print. Like the Bronze Dragon in the last episode, Lord of the Print has gone a bit off manual for this dragon. It has a fairly traditional fantasy dragon head, but they've gone decidedly chunky with the body shape. You definitely get shades of Themberchaud from the Dungeons & Dragons movie, even though this design predates that by several years. You can see the tail is short and stubby, the wings are maybe a little bit smaller than you'd expect for the weight, and as you can see, the pose puts its face just feet off the ground in D&D scale. But I love the heavy scales look. It's a great visual cue that your party is going to have to think about ways around it. But because of the pose, I could also see it being used in a way where maybe your party needs to have a conversation with it. Like the Brass and Bronze Dragon before it, I do wish there was a version that was a little more aggressively posed for battle. If you're going to invest the money and time to add a monster like this to your campaign, you want it to be useful in-game. So I love that the design is a bit non-traditional. I just wish that maybe it was a bit more game-friendly. I will also say that at the time I'm making this video, Lord of the Print is rebooting all of their dragons. They've started with the chromatics, but my guess is they'll be making their way through the metallics as well, so maybe we'll have a more aggressive option soon. Of course, Copper Dragons are the pranksters and riddlers and storytellers of dragonkind. It's not necessarily a dragon that you would get into a battle with, which may be why Lord of the Print designed it in a less aggressive style. So I could definitely see a scenario where maybe the party encounters the Copper Dragon early on in the adventure, the dragon sends them off on a bunch of side quests full of riddles and red herrings, then the party returns and needs to decide, hey, are they going to side with the dragon or are they going to fight them and take their hoard? In terms of printing, there weren't any problems, which is definitely a plus. Because the wings are a little bit smaller, I was able to print everything on my resin printer, which I really appreciated because these heavy scales here definitely would have shown some layer lines. The benefit of the chunkier design is that there really aren't any little bits to break off. And then when you do get some smaller details around the face, they really came out fantastic. So I only had a couple of issues. You can see here some of the wing seams are not exactly perfect. You can't necessarily tell here. You can actually see light through those seams, so those didn't line up quite right. Otherwise, all of the seams are really well hidden. There's one here. I can't even get the light in there. There's one here for his waist because the body came in 2 bits. The neck is also well hidden. And so overall, it was just a really good print and really easy assembly. In terms of size, why is this picture so green? You can see its head is only about 4 feet off the ground. He has about a 75-foot wingspan in D&D scale, which definitely makes him one of our smaller dragons, especially being that he is at the 100mm size. In terms of resources, he cost $17, which is about how much all of the Lord of the Print dragons have cost. The print time was much, much lower than the others because I only had 3 total prints, and the base, which usually takes 12-13 hours, is quite short. So it was only about 1 full day of printing the whole dragon. So in total, we're closing in on $700, and we're well into our 30th day. So if you need a dragon that has a bit more of a neutral pose, but still is an imposing presence, check out this Copper Dragon from Lord of the Print. Next up, we have one of my favorite monsters from my childhood, the Gold Dragon.